Good evening and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. It's a Talk Town special, and your headline this week is Town lose to 10-men Stockport as pressure mounts on Grant. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, viewers. We've already got some comments in, so looking forward to get through to them ones. But Oliver, how are you, my friend? Well this week?
Hello, yeah, thank you. Sorry I missed the last one. I was playing in a bowls competition, but back here now to talk about Huddersfield Town. So
The worst excuse I've ever heard, Oliver. Steve, how are you, my friend?
I'm not so cracky, Crane, to be honest. So viewers will have to bear with me. I've got a bit of a man flu, as they call it. But there we are. We'll soldier on, unlike the Huddersfield Town players. So there we are.
Oh, he's already started, hasn't he, Oliver? He's already started. Okay, so let's get some comments in so far already because these are coming in before we'd even start. So thank you very much for getting them in because it's fantastic. We love them. Comments are fantastic. So Fat Wombat says, the town will rise again, just not this season. Ian says, oh my, how so wrong the predictions were. Mediocre football and no noise from Grant. And then he also says, on my score predictions were so wrong. Dire football yet again. Thought May was a striker. Grant has got him running around like a headless chicken. Dirty 8, trying to stay positive. I'm positive Grant made some very questionable choices, and this one is on him. Hope he learns from it. And Terry 930, he has got to go this week. Guy hasn't got a clue. Alpha May was going mental at him yesterday. May has more of an idea than this clown has. Get him gone. Wow. Well, I'm loving the comments so far because it gives us something to interact with. And as we always say, you know the score. Like, share, subscribe. But most importantly, viewers, comment. Tell us what you think, because these are fantastic, because that means we already know what's happened this week. If you're not clued up, which I'm pretty sure everyone is, that Town have had 2 games this week and unfortunately lost both of them. The first one was Harrogate away on Tuesday evening in the EFL Trophy. Town lost that 1 goal to 0. And there was a bit of a change in the lineup as well. It was very much different to what started away at Exeter, as expected. And we also had a couple of debuts as well on there. So I'm going to tell you the lineup as well. And then I want Steve, I want you to just tell us what you thought on the game overall. And Oliver, I'll come to you as well. So Goodman was in goal. Gooch started at right back, Rowan at left back. Wallace was in central defence with George Openda. That's Tommy Openda's younger brother. Jay Sway and Dan Vost were in the middle of the park. Radulovic played in number 10. Charles was right, Ashia on the left, and Joe Taylor up front. As mentioned, Town lost that 1-0, Steve. So all to play for in the next game of that little group phase against Mansfield. Thoughts on the game, Steve?
Yeah, let's brush over it quite quickly. Basically, I thought the lineup was very disjointed. Why the hell he played Radulovic as a number 10, God only knows. I don't understand why he's playing Jay Sway in midfield when we've all seen him play fullback. And I know maybe some would say, well, it's a good chance for players to learn different positions. Just play players in the right positions. Like, we've got a big enough squad to be able to do that. So, and yes, I know that we've got some injuries, but there's no need for what he did at Harrogate. Nice to see some of the other young lads out there, like George Openda, like you said, who I thought did all right. But yeah, just another mistake by Goodman and just a very flat atmosphere in terms of the performance. And I don't know whether Town took it seriously, to be honest. And Harrogate did. They clearly wanted it, and they got the victory that they wanted. And end of the day, what they deserved. Town had a few chances, but it was just a poor performance in a cup that we should be doing something in, even if many of us don't care about it.
I'm gonna say I think Radulovic suits the number 10 role, to be honest with you, Steve, only because his link-up play is pretty good. He does keep hold of it. He likes to find a pass. Oliver, again, it was a disappointing defeat to Town. in this group phase, you'd expect Huddersfield to come to be the top of the league of it in the end, and something Town should be progressing. But what did you make of the lineup and that game?
I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the Harrogate game, and I'll tell you why. But for me, as Stephen mentioned, like it's a cup game. It's a chance to experiment and try these players in different positions. For me personally, I would take 5-0 losses as long as we get up in the league to go to for the Stockport game. But yeah, I mean, against Harrogate, looking on paper, obviously, you should have backed Huddersfield to win. But how many changes did we make? And again, it was a chance for Grant to experiment with the players, experiment in positions. Particularly, I mean, like I say, we beat Exeter a week before and we had a good game against City. It was a good chance to experiment this time. But I'll be honest, I'm an open, honest person this one. I'm not too bothered about the cup. It's a chance for us to experiment and play. I'm much more focused on the league position and getting out of League One than bothering about this cup. And that's no disrespect to the cup, by the way. It's just, we've got bigger priorities, haven't we, really, as a Huddersfield
We certainly
fan.
do. Steve, I'm going to come back to you, though, mate, because I know you're down to speak again. But you say it is a mistake from Goodman for the goal. Also, you got to think that passing is obviously been told to play out from the back there. Is Jay Sway the right person to be passing to there in that position? You've got to back each other. Was a pass good enough? Has Jay Sway moved his body in the right way? You said that he's playing out of position. He's a player who can play both, but there's a bit of a slope on that hill, and sometimes you should just get rid. No.
Yeah, but I couldn't, like Oliver said, about it's a chance to experiment. But we've just had a decent enough performance against Exeter. We've not been in the best run of form. It's a chance to, yes, give people minutes, but build some momentum within the squad, try and get another win on the board. That means that we would have probably gone through in that group. So, he could have used the last game against Mansfield to maybe experiment a bit more. I've never personally seen Jay Sway play in midfield, but then again, I don't watch all the academy games. For the goal, the goalkeeper can see everything, so he can see that the Harrogate guy he's bearing down on Jay Sway. You've got to think about where everybody is on the pitch. The problem that we have is Goodman can't just go long because Radulovic is playing in the number 10, so he was probably marked up. Taylor isn't the strongest or biggest man up top to just absolutely whack it up to. So it was just the wrong pass. Yes, I agree that Jay Sway's body position is wrong. That's unfortunately how young players sometimes make errors. But for me, Grant got it wrong on the night. It was Grant's, inability to pick a correct team, and that's the reason we lost the game. The fixture came. I disagree with you, by the way, about Radulovic as a number 10. He links the play up well, but he's never a number 10. Not for me.
Fair enough. Mark Harrison says, I understand to some extent the selection for Harrogate, but within hindsight, we needed a sprinkling of more senior players, but I won't drone on, says Mark. Obviously, a very weird ending towards that game, wasn't it? I don't know if it was someone who got bored of watching, so tried to make it a little bit more entertaining in the crowd or whatever. But yeah, it seemed to did halt there. Okay, so disappointing to lose that game against Harrogate, but we can kind of go okay because there's still another game in it against Mansfield where Town again will probably be expecting to win that one. But Town are expecting to win games, even in the cup and also in the league. Didn't quite happen that way this weekend. Yesterday against Stockport, Huddersfield Town won, Stockport County 2. Oliver, this was the lineup, and Steve has done a wonderful job to put in some more graphics for us this week. So, Steve, well done to you. Started with Nichols in goal, Sorensen right back, Ruskin on the left back, Feeney and Lowe, two centre halves, Ledson, Kasumi in midfield. Harness, Castledine, two wider players, while through the middle with Alfie May up top on his own. It was the same side that started against Exeter, so you would kind of be looking to get the same kind of performance, same kind of result, Oliver.
Well, yeah, that was my point. It was the same team as you say, and like I say, that says to me that Grant has started to find his team now, find where the best players are. Hence why I thought he was trying to save his players against Harrogate for this Stockport game. And like I say, he had no changes, and at the first half, Stockport and maybe some people might disagree with it, but Stockport deserved to be leading in the first half. We didn't go. We were home against, and we didn't go out at them. It wasn't. We had one shot on target the whole first half. Stockport were allowed to play, and it was a shirt pull by Lowe that got the penalty for Stockport. And Stockport did deserve to go into the break at 1-0 up. But yeah, I mean, it says to me Grant does have his team, or is nearly there getting his full team. I don't know. We just didn't start off as sharp as we should have done, I think.
Okay, so Steve, what did you make up of the lineup and the first half before we touch on to the second?
Yeah, I was happy with the lineup. I don't think he could do much different with the players that were available to him. It was interesting that in the press conference and the preview show that they do, that they talked about Anthony Evans and Miller, being back on the grass, and I thought they might have had a chance to be on the bench. But I was happy with the lineup, as happy as I could be, really.
Okay, well, Steve, before you talk about your thoughts on the first half, these are currently players out injured. You just said Anthony Evans and Mikel Miller, both returning now. They are on the grass, which is great news. They continue with their rehab at Canal Side, but also Marcus McGuane, Jack Watmore, Herbie Kane, Radinho Balka, Will Alves, and Zepequino Redmond. That list it just seems to be extending at the moment.
Yeah, and they've all got different types of injuries from what I understand. So
Yes.
None of them are necessarily connected, which we've had in the past. A lot of them are long-term injuries, unfortunately, for Alves and Redmond. And McGuane, still not fully 100% sure what's happened with him. Obviously, he's not had a full pre-season. I think Watmore's a massive miss, to be honest. He's shown leadership, and bar the crazy 10 minutes that he had at Blackpool, I think he's been pretty decent, to be honest. Every performance I've watched him in, he's been very, very solid at the back. So I've been quite happy with Watmore. I think he's a bit of a miss. But yeah, it's the injury list isn't good, but I'm sick of blaming injuries for us being crap, to be honest. We've had it for maybe, I don't know, 5 years now. Can we just not have a squad that's just mainly fit like other teams do? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Okay, Steve, talk to me about the first half, though.
The first half, all right. So the first half, I agree with Oliver, by the way, 100%. That Stockport did deserve to go in leading. I don't think it was a penalty. I think it was very soft. But they did deserve to go in leading the match. We didn't start well, like we haven't in, I'd say, 90% of fixtures this season so far. I really don't understand what that mentality is about, particularly at home. You think you're home, being at home, you'd be excited to get out on the pitch to really show the home supporters, what you can do on that particular afternoon. We just let Stockport just pass about. Norwood in the midfield, as he's done for us in the past, sort of be that pull man where he trots around the field and sort of pulls the strings, which we'd all hoped that Herbie Kane would be for us, but that hasn't turned out to be the case. And the one thing that Stockport did really, really effectively well was not just the fact that they could pass the ball, but when they did go long, they've got somebody like Wotton, who is an absolute beast up top. Gets the ball, passes it, brings it down, brings others into play, and can run in slightly, behind. He's not the paciest of players, but he gave our backline problems. And because of that effect, it meant that Stockport's midfield be higher than ours. Ours sat back, which we've talked about before, with Kasumu and Ledson. Ledson, again, for me, was anonymous in the first half, did absolutely nothing. Kasumu tried to break out at times, but again was poor. Unlike his performance at Exeter, which I thought was very good. And again, it was just flat, and you just go into half time and you just think, well, are we going to see a turnaround like we have in maybe, I don't know, 30% of games in the second half? Or is it just going to be much of the same? And obviously, we'll come to talk about the second half, but just poor, Ken. I just thought it was really, really poor, to be honest.
Stockport really did pass that ball well. For me, they were one of the best sides that came to the Aku last season, and certainly at the moment, they were easily one of the best sides I've seen so far this season. Okay, we've only seen a handful. One of them is including Manchester City, and I actually thought performance-wise, I thought Stockport weren't too far off. And look, don't get me wrong, different competition, etc., etc. And we know the players are a lot better at City, but the way they move the ball, and they just seem to have the man always have an overload everywhere on the field. So they kind of had Towns' number in that first half. I'm going to go on to some comments, and then Steve, I'm going to come back to you for the second half, and then Oliver, I'm going to come to you as well, pal. But yeah, we've got some comments as well. Dean, I know you've put a comment in, pal. I'm not going to be going on that one. Fiona, I'm going to come to yours after we get our second half going. Dirty says, is HTFC becoming a place where players' careers come to die? Oh, I'm not too sure about that one, but I get your point. Terry 930, Mr. Nagel needs to end this experiment now. It's not working with Grant. I also think he has lost or is losing the dressing room. Mark Harrison says Stockport was yet another no-show first half hour. They gained confidence and were worthy winners. Our subs were not affected, and we didn't seem to change shape playing against 10. Ian says dire football left again with 20 minutes to go. Dale Mellor, how many times are we all going to say we started slowly? Does Lee Grant not see how slow we start because he's doing nothing about it? Blue Terrier 19, the squad Grant had available to him was still more than capable of winning that game, even with the injuries. Michael Bomley says, dire laboured performance against Stockport, a lot of poor performances by Lowe, Ledson, Castledine, Wiles, May, Grant's not learning with his tactics and substitutions. Terrier 930 says, a 34-year-old Ollie Norwood running midfield for them tells you everything about our midfield. Ollie Norwood had an absolutely superb game for them at the weekend. And now I am going to come to Fiona Clark's comment. Putting Taylor on for 4 minutes on Saturday was ridiculous. Changes should have happened as soon as the red card went up. Steve, reactions to these comments and then thoughts on the second half, please.
Well, I think they're spot on. I think Fiona's comment, Michael's comment there, Teddy 930's comment. Oh, a lot of the comments are so good. And thanks very much, like we said, for getting them in because they're absolutely spot on. A number of points, really. Firstly, so going into the second half, the red card happens, of course, but we don't change formation. We don't, we look slightly more attacking because of the nature of when the opposition gets a man sent off, you have a bit more drive. But then it got to like the 70th minute, and there was just still no like change. I'm thinking, Grant, you've got to chuck on now a couple more subs. Castledine, he's played 87 minutes. How the hell he's played 87 minutes? And listen, he's been great so far as Leo. He has, and he's a young player. And they all have bad performances. We know that. But he should have been hooked at half-time, really, because he was having an absolute mare on that left. He's not a winger for me. We play with inside forwards. People from the 1950s would love the fact that we play a system, we play inside forwards and not wingers. So there's no width to our attack at all. I thought Harness, again, poor. I'm going to get bored of saying that this season out of Kane, let's be honest. Harness being poor. And to put Taylor on with 4 minutes left is just a joke. Like I watched Grant for a lot of that second half, and he looked lost. he didn't look like he knew what to do. And when the second goal went in, Alfie May and Jolo and I think Gooch were having a bit of a tete-a-tete, let's say, which doesn't look good. Right, let's not overhype it and say that they're all falling out, because that's not the case at all. But there was clearly words said on the pitch that was quite visible. Alfie May came over to the touchline a few times, was having quite, I would say, detailed, if not heated, conversations with Grant. The biggest thing for me in that entire game, particularly in the second half, why the hell is Alfie May taking the ball off Nichols on the edge of our box? If somebody can explain that to me as a tactic, I'd love to sit down and hear it. Because against 10 men, when you're at home and you need to win or have a good chance of winning, why is supposedly our star striker that we bought for 1.2 million in the summer, that hopefully will chip in with, say, 15 goals, is taking the ball off our keeper? It blew my mind. And to me, Grant just totally, I think he lost a lot of fans on Saturday with that performance. And the fact he just had no idea how to adapt to that game and take advantage of the red card that Stockport had. It was a bit embarrassing, really.
Oliver, what do you make of what Steve just said, and what were your thoughts on the second half?
I mean, I absolutely agree. I mean, we seemed to react after the second goal rather than the red card, which we should have been on the start. From the last 10 minutes, we were doing quite well, and we managed to get that consolation goal. But as Steve said, it's too late. It's too late when we scored that. We were out of the game. We managed to get a goal in there. That's a positive. But yeah, Steve's absolutely right. We should be reacting straight away to that red card. And as soon as this, I mean, we gave too much respect. I think it was Lowe that gave him too much respect for Bailey just to tap it in. Well, not tap it in, curl it around Nichols. So it was too much respect, too much space for, and that was in our own box as well. So I just don't quite understand why we shouldn't have capitalised on that red. 10 men at home as well. We've got the third best attacking in the league. You know what I mean? I just don't quite understand. It was too late. 10 minutes to go. You know, it was too late to get back into the game properly. So,
okay, I'm going to mention a couple of names, and I thought their performances were actually pretty decent for Town. I thought Josh Feeney had a really decent performance. He had to do a lot of work, and I also thought Lee Nichols made some absolutely fantastic saves throughout the game. And what I did notice, there was a big embrace from Lee Grant with Lee Nichols at the end of the game. Did you? I'm not sure if you managed to see that, Oliver. When you're watching from the Falklands, they might not always come through the screens, but it was a big embrace, and I think that was a case of you made some absolutely beautiful saves today and kept Town in the game as much as he could.
Absolutely. I mean, he kept us in that game in the first half. Stockport were all over us in that first half, and he kept us in it. And that's what we need and he's kept Goodman out, our number one goalkeeper. And he's rightly got the jersey to start as our goalkeeper. But yeah, I mean, we shouldn't have man at home. Our man of the match should be our striker, not the goalkeeper. And that's no disrespect to Nichols. He did keep us in that game. But yeah, there's no idea why we didn't get off the horse quicker.
I'm going to find another positive as well here before we're going to look onto some more graphics that Steve spoke for us. But Radulovic has scored. He's got off the mark this season, Steve. And you know me, I'm absolutely buzzing with that. Great to see him scoring. I'll tell you what an header as well. What an header.
Yeah, it was a great header. Yeah, it made a massive difference to the match. Listen, right, great, wonderful. I'd love it if he could do that more often and in more games. I know we try and be positive on here. There's not many positives I'm bringing out. Like Grant hugging Nichols at the end, he's probably saying, "Thanks, mate. Cheers for saving me bacon there, because it could have been easily 5. Let's be honest, Stockport were really good. Yeah, I'm happy for Bojan, but in the grand scheme of things, did anybody really cheer when the goal went in? Did anybody think we were going to come back? No. So yeah, I'm sorry to be the pity party here, but
You are, Steve. I'm buzzing that Radulovic has scored. I called on my comms he might get on and get a brace. He got one, so I'm half right. Oliver, come on, help me out. That is a positive. You know, he's a striker that
Absolutely.
needs the confidence, right? And that's a great header.
Absolutely. I mean, it managed. I heard on the commentary though that fans were leaving, so they missed a lot of fans missed that goal. It was too late. But I mean, if you look at some of the positives, we did have more possession. Actually, we had more shots, just not on target, and more passes. If you look at the passing statistics, but yeah, I mean, at least we didn't lose 2-0, 5-0. 2-1's better than not at all. So, yeah, it was just a bit too late for us.
Hold on, Steve.
Yeah, we made nothing. You're right. You're absolutely right. We did. We didn't. We had all this statistics. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, after you.
No, go on, mate. These are your stats. Talk us through them.
Well, no, as Steve just said, you know, we've got these stats, we've got passes, and again, but it doesn't consolate. We didn't win the game. That's the main stat we needed. But at the end of the day, we still had more total shots. In the first half, we only had one shot on target, for example. I'm just, again, I would have preferred to sit here now and said, yeah, we won 5-0, happy days. But I'm just trying to think of some positives. We're still making a few chances. It's just, I don't know, it's just too late for Huddersfield.
Yeah, you're right, Oliver. It did seem a little bit too late for Town when they got that goal. That the majority of the crowd that were there had left. In fact, a lot started to leave after the second one went in. Steve, you've put these graphics on here. No, Steve, no, I'm good because we'd have some issues if you'd left. You put these graphics on here for me to put up for you. So I'm going to pick one out, and I want you to talk to me about it. So I'm picking this one out first. Goals conceded per match.
Yeah, so basically, this is a league table of after the first 10 or 11 league fixtures of where towns stand in a lot of these tables. So we are currently 11th in terms of the league table for goals conceded per match. So not a bad stat. We're not the worst team, but we're certainly not the best team. We're about mid-table for how many goals we are conceding in each fixture so far.
Which says it's 1.2. Yeah. So probably it's 1.2. Okay. Steve, I don't know what this one is, but Town are 8th. Is this?
Yeah, so we're 8th in terms of the average possession that we have per match. So we currently have 54.3% possession per game. That's obviously a lot lower than, say, Bolton, who have 59% possession, or, say, Barnsley at 57%. But obviously, interestingly enough, Peterborough, who are well down the league table, have 51.1% possession of the football. So, many people might say it's a bit of a crap stat, but in terms of keeping the ball, we're the 8th best in the league at doing that. Now, the caveat with that is many of those passes go between Josh Feeney and Joe Lowe, let's say.
Okay.
This one's
next stat,
clean.
Steve.
This one's clean sheets. So Lee Nichols has currently got 6. I've cut it out actually off the graphic there. Sorry about that. But he's got 6 clean sheets. We've got 6 clean sheets as goalkeepers and as a team so far this year. We're the 3rd best at doing that in the league. Interestingly enough, Northampton are first, and they're near the bottom of the table. So I don't really know how that stat works out, but there we are.
Basically, with a couple of them, what we're saying is when Town concede, they concede, is what we're saying,
yes,
which I think we have seen.
Yeah.
Okay, goals per match.
Yeah, so this is obviously scoring wise. So we normally score 1.5 goals per game. That's obviously a little bit down on Bradford City, who sit top at 1.8. So we're near, but we're not quite at 2 goals per game. We're at 1.5. So yeah, we're the 5th best in the league at that.
Okay, I'm not going on to this one yet. We can come back to that one.
Yeah, so this
possession won in the final third.
Yeah, so I found this one really interesting. So basically, this stat tells you how much we press high as a team and how much we win the ball in the opposition's in our final third, which is obviously the opposition's defensive third. And we are fourth worst team at doing that in the league. Again, we only have won 2.6 balls in the final third, which is massively down, by the way, on the top 10, like really down. So it just shows that we don't press high as a team.
Oliver, does that one surprise you?
Yeah, good job. That's really surprised me, that one, because I would have said against Stockport, I think we took that second goal from Stockport for us to actually make a reaction in the last 10 minutes and started to press harder. But yeah, that one definitely, I didn't realise we were down in the worst 4 teams for that statistic. But
yeah, it's quite a surprising one, is that one. Steve, shots on target per match?
Yeah, excuse me. So yeah, obviously this is quite a simple one. With the fourth best team in terms of shots on target, many people would say, "Well, how the hell does that work?" But it's just a very basic stat, really. We have one of the highest shots on goal. I think we're third for that, but we're actually fourth for shots on target.
Okay, and then the most pointless one out of them all, which if anyone actually takes this into consideration, then don't bother, because this is the most waste of time of analysis that is going out there. But Steve, expected goals.
Yeah, so this says that we should have had, and now I haven't got the league table in front of me, so I don't know actually how many goals we've scored this year. But it says that we should have scored 16.6 expected goals this year with the chances that we've created and the shots that we've had on target. So currently we are sitting in the fourth best team in League One at expected goals. Bradford, unsurprisingly, are top of that table, and they are one of the highest at winning the ball higher up the pitch as well, as we showed in the last graphic.
Do you want to know why this is the most absolute load of analysis going? Because it's got a point after the first number, which you can't score 0.1 goal, can you? Absolute waste of time. But Steve, thank you very much for going through them. Quite interesting, a lot of them. We've got a couple more comments going in. I'm going to go through some of these, and then we might try and have a bit of a roundup. I've got a question for both of you as well on what your thoughts on that one are. So just a moment for that question. Blue Terrier 19. Grant is losing the dressing room. I think that's due to how stubborn he is with his philosophy. If he doesn't change it, it can only see things getting worse. Grant does not have a plan B, says Ian. Fiona says it was Blackpool all over again. 10 men, but didn't make enough changes. Blue Terrier 19 says the number 1 shirt is Nichols to lose now. Ian says Steve Bruce is available. We've got King Chronic. We are a team without a midfield. No connection from defence to attack. Benson isn't a leader or captain. You wouldn't even know he was playing. Ruskin looked much better at left back, says Mark. And we've also got this one. How about top goal scorers in the league, Steve? You need to find that one out for us as well. I think there's quite a good few in there. Burstow Bolton is the league's top scorer with 12. What's our top goal scorer? It's May with 2. I think Joe Taylor has scored 5. That's in all competitions also. League, yeah, I think you could probably be about right there, Ian. Any comments, Oliver, about some of these comments that we've just had up?
I mean, Blue Terrier, yeah, I think he's right. The number 1 shirt is Nichols to lose. Absolutely. I think I mentioned it earlier as well. Ian Hemmond, Steve Bruce is available. I mean, I guess that's another topic later on, so I'm sure that's something for us to discuss. Yeah, the plan B comment, I think maybe that's what Grant is lacking at the moment. Yeah, that's the one by Ian. I think, as Steve said, we just looked a bit lost towards the end of after the red card. There was no kind of drive or determination or attacking. But it was interesting when you mentioned about them 3 players arguing. I can't remember the 3 players that were arguing. To me,
it was Low, May, and Gooch, I believe.
Gooch.
Yeah.
And it shows to me, I prefer them to be. I mean, it wasn't like a big thing, but I prefer them to be arguing on the pitch because it shows to me passion. It shows to me frustration that they're really wanting to at least put on the shirt and win the game. Because I've seen Huddersfield Town teams in the past that just don't seem interested. Are not bothered about the result. Whereas this time, it shows a bit of passion on that field, which is what we've needed. It just hasn't got there just yet. So.
Yeah, Steve, any comments? I think this is a very interesting comment from King Kronzix.
Yeah, we had a team without midfield. I've said it for a little while now. We don't know the best two to sit in midfield. Ledson for me has been anonymous. He had a decent game at Exeter, I have to say, but that's probably one of very few so far. Him and Harness certainly have been the biggest letdowns for me. Obviously, we've not had Anthony Evans so far this year. Marcus McGuane could be a very good player to bring in, but obviously he's been out injured and not had a pre-season. Herbie Kane obviously played a number of matches, but didn't really work. We just don't have a. I'm not saying that we're going to ever sign a Lewis O'Brien or Aaron Moy in this division, but we don't have that sort of player that drives us forward. So, like, they had Oliver Norwood, and then they had the other lad in midfield.
Odin Bailey.
Yeah, Odin Bailey. And he always drove forward where Norwood would stay back and be the conductor. And there was a very, very set way that they played on Saturday, and they knew exactly what they were doing at each moment of that game. So Norwood would be constantly, if not in terms of speaking, but sort of telepathically in communication with Bailey, because he knew where he was on the pitch and what he was going to probably do on the pitch and vice versa. And we just don't have that. We don't have any connection. They sit far too deep, which we've mentioned before on the podcast. And because of that, I think Oliver said it, and maybe one of the other comments, there's very, very little link-up play between them and then the forward line, which is supposed to be three in behind the striker. Again, I wouldn't say Castledean should be played out on the left. We still don't know Ben Wowes' best position. We've been trying to work that out for 18 months. Harness hasn't impressed. Why on 70 minutes didn't he go, right, I tell you what, it's not worked for Leo, it's not his game. We'll take him off. We'll put Wiles onto the left. It's not his position, but we'll shove him out on the left. We'll put Asir on the right, or vice versa, sorry. And we'll put Joe Taylor on and put Alfie May in the number 10 position. I just don't understand why that didn't go into Grant's head, and instead he just didn't do anything. So the midfield is by far our weakest point in this team. And I said before the game, anybody could go back, review what I said. I said the midfield battle against Stockport will be vitally, crucially important for us getting a win. And our midfield didn't exist, and theirs did.
Do you think the players looked a little bit leggy at the weekend, Steve?
Yeah, but why should they look harder? Yeah,
it's just a quick question. Do you think they look leggy?
Yeah, but I don't know why that will be.
Okay, Oliver, do you think they looked a little bit leggy?
Yeah, from what I saw, but again, with Steve, why would there be? Majority of them were not playing against Harrogate, so they've had a good week to recover from Exeter. But I just wanted to. The midfield is a bit of an issue, but we are still one of the top attacking teams at the moment anyway. So we're getting the goals, and we're not sat here going, I just so don't seem to be capitalising against the Bradford, Blackpool. I mean, Blackpool are down in the league. Stockport are a very good team. We do have a good attack. It's just. Again,
it's a strange one when you look at the stats, isn't it, Oliver? It's a strange one when you look at the stats and you go, well, the town should be. Well, they are where they are because of the stats, and it all says that. But it's when you watch and the performances are what the fans wanted to see now, which now should lead me on to my next question that I've got for you both. What is Northern football? Oliver, I know you're not necessarily from around these parts. What is your understanding of what Northern football is?
Well, we had a manager a while ago, Danny Cowley. It was grit, determination, and a very physical style. That's what I would say. And a prime example, a good manager that suited that when we had it was Neil Warnock. His philosophy for football was Huddersfield Town, and that's why he did quite well with us when he was managing Huddersfield. And that's what I would say. You know, Huddersfield does have that great determination, and the club is a community club. You know, it is massive in the town itself, and we have a lot of passionate fans that want to see the club do well. But yeah, that's what I would say Northern football is. It isn't this kind of tactical Pep Guardiola style football. It's more of a, it's great determination and physical game. That's what I would suggest.
Okay. Any viewers, what is Northern football to you? Put your comments in. Keep it obviously short and sweet for me. What you think it is, and we'll get them read out. Steve, what is Northern football to you? What does that mean?
This is why I love doing podcasts, by the way, because we all get different opinions. And the fact that Oliver, bless him, has brought up Danny Cowley as an example of Northern football has blown my mind. That Oliver, I really like you, mate. But my God, don't ever call Danny Cowley a Northern football manager. Jesus, it's a millstone. It's a millstone around the neck now of the club, innit? This whole comment. I mean, bloody hell, we come up with some right stuff at times, don't we? I just want to say, I'm not bothered about Northern football. I just want to see good, hard-working football. And some people might go, well, that is Northern football. Yeah, but that should just be the basic standard of what we expect from the players. Now, I agree with Oliver in terms of after the second goal, when I've mentioned about the not argument, but maybe heated discussion between the players, that does show that they obviously care and they want to get it right, which I agree with Oliver. We haven't. I always remember a game, and I don't know if Oliver was covering this at the time back in England, but we lost 4-0 to Swansea City when we got relegated from the Championship, and that was the most soulless I've ever felt at the Aku Stadium in my entire life supporting the club, because none of them players cared. Now, do I think it's a case of the players not trying? No. Do I think it's more to do with tactics and what the players are asked to do? Absolutely. And I think that's where we're going wrong so far this season. Now, many people might say, well, you're still sixth in the league and you're still looking like you might have a playoff place. But what gets me is some fans look at it from the outside point of view like that. But we watch Huddersfield Town week in, week out. We know what good performances should look like. And a lot of the time this season, despite the fact that we've got maybe wins or draws or whatever, we've not had performances. And on Saturday, it was a case of, again, having a very, very weak performance. So
Steve,
that's not really answering the question, Kane, because I don't really believe in Northern football as a term.
Just about to say, you make a great politician because you never answered my question there. Mark Harrison says, Northern football, get it forward and get tackles in. And John Murray says, Northern football, pride, passion, playing for the shirt.
I like that. That's right. That's what it should be. If that's down to the basic term of what it is, then John's got it absolutely spot on.
But, well, this is the thing. I think we've all got a different ideology of what Northern football is. Like Oliver, talking about the Cowleys and their kind of football. And we've gone from asking you, Steve, and you not answering it.
What's yours then? What's yours?
What is mine? So what I would say Northern football would be fast-paced, tempoed, in the face of the opposition, making it hard for any opposition to get out of their own half, and being tough, being nasty. You want any other team coming to your ground or playing you and going, nope, I don't want to play this today, because they are not going to give me any time or space. And when they hit me, I'm going to be hit, and I know I'm going to get hit. for me, Northern football is, again, getting in the face of the opposition, really not allowing them any time inside their own half and just getting at them, go in again, go in again, go in again, repeat, repeat, repeat. Do not give them any time or space. And like I say, let them know they're in battle. When they hit them hard. That's how I see Northern football.
And I agree with that. But by late Northern in the first game of the season, which I actually think that we did that, which other fixture this season have we done that in? No. I can't name one.
Terry 930 says Northern football, blood, sweat, and tears. Have a bloody go. Again, I think hard work as well, because but saying that, when you're up in the face of your opposition, not giving them any time or space, and being hard in the tackles, Oliver, that's hard work as well, though, right? That's a given, is the hard work.
Absolutely. I just wanted to clarify, though, that I'm using Danny Cowley's, when I was doing the press conferences, Danny Cowley always used to mention it. He always used to say, we are small, we're terriers, but we fight. It's that kind of dogged determination. That's how I would define Northern football. When Huddersfield went over to, when Manchester United came over to Huddersfield, it doesn't matter about the team. The Huddersfield fought for every point, fought for every tackle. And Danny Cowley, his media strategy was brilliant. He was trying to market that. I mean, maybe his football was a bit different, but and that's the way I would define kind of Northern football. We might be smaller than the bigger clubs, but we still fight for every point, and they're still in their face, as Kane mentioned, still looking for that result, regardless if the odds are stacked against us.
I think that's another great point, Oliver. You'd never give up. Never give up.
That's the word. Yeah.
Never giving up. And I think sometimes even that, for me, whenever I've coached, I ask for one of my main things. I ask for is never giving up. So if you give up, you let so many people down. Couple of other comments in here as well. Mark says, I think we're all falling short of our definitions. And Michael said, Northern football is tough, physical, hard work football. Northern football is not passing backwards and sideways. Okay, gentlemen, we are now 11 league games into the campaign. We've got 6 victories, 1 draw, 4 losses. We've scored 17 goals, conceded 13. We've got a goal difference of 4. And we've got 19 points on the board, and Town are currently 6th in the league. Okay, Oliver. Let's have what have you made of the first 10, 11 games of the league campaign?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'd like to sit here and say we're top of the league, winning every game, 7-0, away we go to the championship. But the realistic Huddersfield Town is that it's kind of like coming from a bad breakup, isn't it? We've just come from some dire football last season towards a very disappointing end to last season. We've had a lot of relegations, and then the football has improved from last season in particular. I mean, like I said it last time, I went to Leyton Orient where we lost 4-1. It was as high, the last game of the season. That was the worst game I've ever watched, honestly. And we did even score a goal, and that was Jonathan Hugg's final game as well. But we're moving on to this one. The football has improved. And we're sat here in the playoff positions. We could be Blackpool. We could be talking about we're in the relegation zone. We're still in that playoff position. And we just got to be realistic, whether we are a playoff team or whether we're automatic promotion. And I think we've got a new team. It's a new manager. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes as well, all positive and things going on. And to say we're in the playoff position still, I think that's I'm obviously I'd like to say we'd be top of the league, but I am still quite happy that we are in and amongst the playoffs.
There is a lot of positives going on around the club. There is a lot of stuff that the club is doing right behind the scenes. Would have to agree with there, Oliver. Steve, your review on the first 10, 11 games of the league campaign, please.
Quarter term report says decent start to the term. Could do better. That's what it states. Homework handed in late. Sometimes not being the great, being kicked out of class. That's what it would say. We've had 3 dodgy performances. 4 actually. We've had 4 dodgy performances. in Bradford, Barnsley, Blackpool, and now Stockport. We've had some good victories over Reading and Exeter, probably the best performances that we've had, and Leyton Orient. So we've had 3, I would say, very acceptable, very half-decent performances. And then we've struggled in games such as Burton where, we couldn't break them down. Cup games, we've had some great cup games, but obviously that's ended now. And we've had some abysmal performances such as Harrogate. So the thing that Grant needs to do is learn fast. He needs to be more adaptable in fixtures when making substitutions. He needs to, I agree with Oliver as well, he's probably starting to learn his best team, which is good, because he needs to go into that with the rest of the season. But, we need to cut out things like Alfie May taking corners and picking the ball up on his own box. And we need to get a plan B. And in January, please, God, go buy a striker that is taller than 6 foot that can hold the ball up. Even if you have to go take Wootton off Stockport, just go do it. Pay the money. The man is there. We just need, and I hate swearing on podcast because I'm very.
Don't do it then.
All right. We just need a big house up front. That's what we need.
I can't believe how positive you started that comment. To be honest with you, Steve, I was expecting. It's terrible. So I'm proud of you, Steve. I'm really proud of you there.
It's not been terrible. It's the first 10, 11 games haven't all been terrible. There's been a lot of bright spots, but there's also been a lot of spots where it's not been good enough and the performances have not been good enough, and Grant needs to learn quickly from those performances. Some of them aren't his fault, such as Watmore at Blackpool and Goodman being absolutely mad at Barnsley. But then Stockport was Grant's fault, in my opinion. Harrogate was Grant's fault, in my opinion. So I think he lost a lot of people on Saturday. But my God, let's not go down the path of wanting to sack a manager after 11 games, because we can't keep. We are the Watford of the North at the moment. We're sacking head coaches.
Well, that's what John says. Lee Grant had a shocker yesterday, but if we sack a man after 2 months of competitive action and a new squad, then we are in trouble. He's got a win rate of more than 50%. And not a great watch, but I think he makes a point there. Steve, just back to what you said about, does Town need a striker? I don't think they do. They've got plenty of good strikers there. You say a tall one. Radulovic scored a header from a corner yesterday. I think what you should be thinking about more and alluding to is the fact that you're saying bring a striker in, but then you also mentioned that Alfie May is picking the ball up on the edge of the box. So could you not just turn that around a little bit and you could be saying, actually want to see Alfie May further forward?
No, because he's obviously been instructed to take the ball off Nichols on his own box. So
but has he?
Yeah,
has he? Or is he just frustrated that he wants the ball and wants to get forward and he's not getting it, so he's taking it into his own hands?
Well, he might be doing that as well, but there's no point banging it long up to May and Taylor because they're never going to win it. I know that you love Bojan, and you have ever since he's come to the club. He's like, if there's ever been a fanboy of Radulovic, you are it. I'm going to get you a T-shirt with a number 1 fan on the back. But
can you get it signed as well, please?
100%. But the thing about Bojan is he's not a big angry man up top. Wootton. I'm using Wootton as an example because we saw him on Saturday. He's a big, angry sod up front for Stockport who don't give a crap. He just elbows people. He just go back to. I'm saying this as an example, but we need an Alan Lee. We need a better Alan Lee, but we need an Alan Lee. We need a John Parkin. We need a.
The base.
Yeah,
Grant Holt.
Grant Holt,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, but we need that sort of strike, and we don't have it. And bless Bojan, he's not that sort of man. He's not a big angry man to go up there against a big centre back and go, do you know what? We're going to have a bit of a tussle today, and you're not going to get the best of me. He's not that, and we don't have any other strikers like that. And the one closest to that was Freddie Ladapo. And my God, I'd fly Oliver back from Falklands to play before Freddie. ever played for us again.
You
So,
wouldn't want that.
so yes, I agree. It's a tactic thing, or the players are just doing it off their own back because they're frustrated. But we don't have that plan B, and that's the big problem with Grant, and he don't know how to fix it.
I think Joe Taylor, he could be the man. Joe Taylor loves a battle, and he's got a lot of pace about, a lot of physicality. So I think Joe Taylor, I can do the battling, but I know what you mean. He's not the tall player to go win the ball in the air. Mark Harrison says first 11 games have been very mixed, but recently going backwards. Hopefully this is growing pains and poor form rather than long-term dip. Ian says mid-table at best if Grant stays in charge. And also, what's this? Tell Bojan he has to move back to Huddersfield. That will make him angry. That's a great one, Terry. 9:30. Okay. So, what we're saying is at the moment, it's not too bad, but there's things to improve, and we want to start seeing better performances. Oliver, is that arguably what the case is?
I would say so. I think we're in a good position. We've got 11 days now, and Grant, this will be his first, big test, really, because this is the time now for him to get a reaction out of his players. You know, there is disappointment. It is a disappointing result. As Steve mentioned, the fans, some people are starting to turn their heads. And this is Grant's opportunity now. And as fans, we should be behind him, giving him that, giving the team that support as well, because like I say, there's 11 days until Bolton, and that's going to be a big game. Bolton are in the playoff areas as well. So, I think we could be worse, put it that way. We could be sat here saying we're in 14th place or wherever, and that would be a totally different story. But the fact that we are winning games and we are up there in League One at this early stage of the season, I think that's a positive at least.
Yeah. Fair enough, Oliver. I like that from you. Okay, so no game next week, as that one's been called off due to Luton having players playing international games. But the week after, it's a Thursday night game. It will be Huddersfield Town versus Bolton. We're not going to preview it too much because, quite frankly, it's too far away. But we can do some predictions because Ian Nichols has already put one in already. So we are getting very close to wrapping this one up. Okay, so Ian has said... Town 0, Bolton 3. Ian has said Bolton begins with B, lads. So we know what that might mean. Oliver, prediction, please, for the Bolton game.
There's a Bolton fan in the Falklands, and obviously he'll be watching in. So we'll be sat in our one pub in the islands watching the game. I'm gonna go with a 2-0 victory to the Terriers.
So 2-0 to Town, says Oliver and Steve.
2-1 Bolton.
2-1 Bolton
in the Falklands. Yeah. Sorry,
Oliver to win this.
I would love to be more positive. Bolton are a decent football side. They've got very quick players. I think it's going to be a tough game that Thursday night, lads. I'd love us to win it though. It'd be great to get back on the horse.
It will be great. Terry 9:30 says Town 0, Bolton 2. Well, it's not looking good for that next game. But I want to say thank you very much to everybody that's viewed in. Put your comments in. They've been fantastic as always. Love getting the comments in. For us to read stuff, talk about, debate when you put them in there, it just makes everything so much easier. Michael just putting one in. Town 1, Bolton 3. Still not going great for these predictions. But thank you so much for joining in. Oliver, Steve, you've been absolutely fantastic as always. We've been the West Yorkshire Football Show. It's been a Talk Town special. Your headline was Town lose to 10 men Stockport as pressure mounts on Grant. But our 10-11 game review says things aren't too bad. It could get better. But you know what? We've still got a long season to go ahead, haven't we? So thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody that's viewed. Have a lovely week, and we'll speak to you all very, very soon.